It's the Real Estate Podcast, brought to you by ANZ Home Loans for financial well-beings.
Hey, welcome back to the Real Estate Breakfast as we connect you to the very best in real estate information across Australia. We do that 7 days a week as we take a closer look at property from multiple angles, because that's pretty important. Not all real estate stories are cut and dry. Some are nuanced, others go down a rabbit hole never to resurface again, which is why talking to real estate professionals around the country is so important when looking at the bigger picture. And that's what we keep in mind all the time. It is a Thursday, May the 8th, and let's go to where the lifestyle is and the rich and famous love to call home. Where in Australia is that? Well, it's fast becoming the GC, the Gold Coast. Where else? And Alex and Victoria Fleri are joining us, and they make the Gold Coast their home. And good morning to you, Victoria. How are you doing?
Oh, morning. Very well, thank you. How are you?
Always busy, and it seems that we're talking more and more, Victoria, about the Gold Coast and the luxury market.
That's right. Well, we've been very busy up here. We've had multiple open homes. We like to make ourselves available to people all the time. So we're busy on Saturdays, Sundays, twilights, private inspections and meetings that sometimes go quite late to 9 or 10 p.m, just so that we can make sure we're covering all the ground, because the interest in the Gold Coast is still so significant.
Gee, you've trained her really well there, Alex. She's straight into sales mode.
Well, we're trying to sell you something, Craig. We've got a nice little 2-bed, 2-bath. It's perfect for you just to have a little stop away.
Oh, yes, perfect. Probably the price is the most important thing.
Mate, you can afford it, no problem.
Now, talking of affording, Surfers Paradise has become Queensland's newest $4 million suburb, with median house prices soaring. Check this is very eye-watering, 123% over the last 5 years. That's pretty big. Luxury market is not missing out here.
That's correct. But the reality is there is a significant price increase with development sites that were previously classed as residential only being now rezoned for high density towers. And so that has lured in high-rise developers from Sydney, Melbourne. I've got a developer from Dubai. I've got a Chinese group who've just bought a triple block in Surfers Paradise. And they are amalgamating sites. And when they do that, or it becomes a development site, they have a longer settlement, but you get a significantly higher price. And we've sold about a dozen sites over the last 18 months, and they have all contributed to that escalation in price.
Yeah, talking about that, when you've got somebody that's really good at putting together a deal, not all developers can do this. And what I'm saying is that if you've got properties side by side, you go and talk to maybe 3 or 4 of them, you want that land grab. It's one thing to talk to them, but it's a completely different scenario when you bring all 4 of them to the table. You do a little sweetener, you add a little bit of a bonus, and everybody comes out pretty satisfied.
I agree. It's a pretty unique skill, and you need a developer who's got a little bit of patience and also experience in that field. It's not the same as just buying something from a homeowner who's got a DA or got the potential for a DA, and it's a straight transaction. When you're amalgamating, there are different gates to go through, different dialogues to use as an agent, and also different outlooks to have as a homeowner. And so you need a perfect storm to get those deals across the line.
The reason I mention that is that I actually know somebody who is not a developer, and he's got this skill base. And what he will do is he will negotiate with these property owners, create the space. It's not necessarily just for a high-rise, could be for some townhouses. And then he goes and approaches the developers. You might be doing that in your market, wherever you're listening to us from. Now, we mentioned that Surfers Paradise has got this 123% rise over 5 years. Victoria, experts have been forecasting a 10 to 13% property price increase on the Gold Coast for this year. You're probably seeing that in terms of the numbers that you're talking with.
Yes, that's right. We're still finding that there's also an increased interest in new builds, which of course creates a bit of a spike in prices. There's still limited land available on the Gold Coast, and some of those buyers, whether they be international, interstate, or even local, looking to change through different suburbs, if they're looking for that central in the heart of the Gold Coast around Surfers Paradise, Isle of Capri, Paradise Waters, Mermaid Waters has become very trendy, of course, as well. There really is not too much available in the brand new builds. So that's sort of creating a high demand in those areas. Also, we look at FIOB and the fact that that will drive the prices up as well.
So the international buyers, they really are, aren't they, lining up for these waterfront showstoppers. The developers are onto it. They know that they want everything included in these luxury waterfront showstoppers. You're getting them from around Australia. Where else are they coming in from internationally, your buyer inquiry pool?
We're still getting interest from overseas UK, people coming back, Switzerland, Italy, Spain, also Vietnam, Thailand, we've had buyers from, and China, of course. So still quite a wide variety of buyers coming through internationally. Of course, we drag in that lifestyle that has the move-in ready, close to the shops, the beach, and really good schools on the Gold Coast. So it really is very attractive to people coming from all around the world. They see it advertised and they think, well, that's where I want to raise my family.
And what about people, Alex, upgrading, going to something a little bit bigger because they've got the equity in that current home? How much of that is going on and what you're seeing?
Actually, I haven't come across many locals upgrading. I've seen more locals downsizing as the kids have left the house, or they've sold their business, or they're just looking to travel a lot more. And what we're seeing is that the larger homes are going to those interstate or international buyers. So we're seeing wouldn't necessarily call them upgraders from Sydney, but you'd say, they had a large home in Sydney and now they're looking at a large home here on the Gold Coast. And that is allowing the empty nesters, so to speak, to transact their property. And that's the movement we're seeing more of.
Yeah, one of the interesting things, I was talking with Katrina, who services the Surfers Paradise area, and she was saying that, a lot of these high flyers, they're preferring to buy apartments because these days, I suppose, I don't know how thick the glass is for keeping the noise resistance out, but she was saying that, having the apartment in Surfers Paradise, it just offers so much more privacy than what a house does. Is that what you're finding?
Yes, certainly. And in fact, the new build apartments are just so luxurious. Long gone are the days where, developers just put in the minimum spec and she'll be right, or that'll do. The developers and the builder developers are really going above and beyond to create such beautiful quality apartments and really fabulous world stage designs. And they integrate that also with, importantly, car parking and the amenities in the building. And when I say car parking, they're conscious of the configuration of car parks and how practical they have to be. And you can get privacy right from your car, right up to your apartment door, and then you've got privacy within. So there is certainly an element of that within the design.
And wellness centres are also playing a bit of a key attraction factor. What about this proposed 23-level tower in Main Beach? I see that is facing some fierce opposition from locals concerned about overdevelopment and community impact.
Look, we're always going to get that. The way the Gold Coast is structured is everything has a zone or a pocket, if you will, and the council has done its best to have a traffic overlay or a master plan for traffic flow in the city. And as an area taps out, they then open up the opportunities in the next area. Main Beach is one of those areas. It's always had a village feel, a community feel, and a high rise would probably change the feel a little bit in there, but we are still tight for land. And as Chevron Island is now packed out and they are reducing the amount of permits going into Chevron Island, the amount of density per permit going in, Palm Beach is packed out. The council is going to look to unlock new pockets or zones, and Main Beach is definitely on the radar.
Just before I let you go, how many Sydney people in 2025 are you either selling to or getting buyer inquiries from at the moment?
I'd say that there's still quite a large majority coming from Sydney. Certainly some of the recent sales we've done in residential have actually been families from Sydney looking. They'll literally fly up for the weekend, have a look, go back down to work, reshuffle things that they need to organise, work out what would work for a settlement, and they're actually then proceeding with the sale and future planning how they can move up here. And that's quite a lot of sales we've done on the residential side as well, not just the developers.
All roads are heading to the Gold Coast. Oh, I should mention too that the Gold Coast Mayor Tom Tate has shared a timeline on when he hopes the Southport Tower of Power, I love the title for that, Tower of Power, will be built. So you'll be able to find that online. That is, I think that's a $300 million tower going there in Southport. All right, we'll leave it there, Victoria and Alex. Great to catch up with you, find out what is happening there on the Gold Coast. Plenty of activity, plenty of development. It's keeping you pretty busy.
Thank you, Craig. Yes, it's keeping us busy, and we're off to the Cannes Film Festival next week to promote our latest movie, by the way.
Oh, yes, it is that time of the year for Cannes. Lucky you. I've done that 4 times and you just never get sick of going into the south of France. For those that don't know, there's 2 things that happen in Cannes. You've got the film market where about 30,000 people from around the world, film industry people, are buying and selling product. Then you've got the red carpet stuff, which Brad Pitt, etc. are at. 2 very different things. Which one are you going to? I think I know the answer.
We're actually going to both. We've been invited to the markets to pitch. We've actually got 3 products we're looking to pitch, including our zombie plane, which is being finalised right now. And we've got a fun one called Nuns with Guns coming up, which is a series we're talking to Amazon on. And we've got another one, which is a zombie movie again. We've also got the invitations to a couple of red carpet events because we've been rubbing shoulders with the who's who behind the scenes. So Victoria has been out spending big on new dresses and new shoes I spotted this morning also.
Very good eye you have, yeah.
All right. Well, good luck with the new dress, the shoes. It seems like that is the perfect time to get out of this conversation. Nuns with guns.
Perfect.
Thanks, Craig. Great to talk to you.
Let's explore together the power of real estate. It's the Real Estate Podcast, talking properties from 6 a.m. every day from every corner of the Australian real estate market.
And in fact, I've actually heard of some Australians using cruise ships as a retirement strategy because they get all their meals and laundry services covered and they get to see the world at the same time.
Yeah, you're right. There are a lot of people, a lot of Aussies that are doing it. In fact, the last time that I did a cruise, it was back in 2015, Eliza, sailed out of Miami around the Caribbean. It was 11 days, too long, never do that again. We got food poisoning, my partner and I, as well as a virus, stuck in the cabin for 3 days. Got to say, I was so pleased that we upgraded and had a really nice balcony because without that it would have been hell.
I'm reevaluating the economic benefits of the cruise after that story.
There's not a lot of places in Perth that I'd be comfortable putting either my own money or investors' money into in Perth at the sort of sub 600, 650 level at the moment if you're looking for a house. I think the downside risk in certain suburbs that have been driven by investor activity to this point, there's a scenario where you might end up with get another 10, 12, 15% growth in this cycle if you're buying now, but you might end up giving back more than that when the market softens and we finally find ourselves in a higher supply environment in the future.
We connect you to the best real estate information across Australia. The Real Estate Podcast.